right, so we're on to round 3. For that, we're going to go with the aqua yarn again. And we're going to join in on one of these 4 double crochets. Doesn't matter which one you do. Again, I'm going to pick one sort of opposite this tail so that I can hold the blue tail in for a while, cut it, and then hold this white one in for a few stitches and cut it without having to have both of them at the same time. So I'll grab my aqua yarn. Remember, all of these are done back loop only. So I'll join in here with a chain. This pattern, we're going to do it 8 times all the way around, and it's just a single crochet followed by an increase all the way around. This chain counts as my first single crochet. So that means we're going to go on to the next stitch, back loop only, and do an increase. So 2 in the same one. Repeat that, single crochet, increase, back loop only, holding the yarn inside the stitches if you don't want to have to weave it in later, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So just finishing out this 4th round, what we do have here is the single crochet increase all the way around. You notice that I'm down to the last couple of stitches here, which works. So this is my single crochet and the increase. And again, it's sort of a good double check. You know that you've done things correctly, have had the right count, because we're finishing the round at the end of a repeat. So I've done the repeat 8 times. I finished it here, single crochet followed by an increase, just in time to run out of stitches to work in. So to finish this round out like the previous ones, I'm going to go ahead, cut the yarn, and do the join. So to the first actual single crochet, not the chain, pull the yarn through, bring it back to the front, the last stitch of the round through just the back loop only, grab the yarn, pull it through. Finishes out round 4. I can go ahead and cut the tails that I held into the stitches. And we'll leave this one from the join connected so that I can hold it in the stitches of the next round. There you go, round 4 done. Alright, so we're on to round 5, and if you've been watching along for a while, you may have noticed that for some reason I was just calling the rounds by the wrong number. I apologize about that, so hopefully I will be right from now on. I mean, I don't know why I should know, I'm just the one who wrote the pattern. Anyway, we are doing round 5. We're going to join on the white yarn again, and we're going to join in on the second stitch of an increase, specifically one following one of our double crochets. So you notice we have this double crochet here, and you look above that, that's a single crochet, and then right next to it we have an increase. So we want to start on the second stitch of that increase. So right here, the second stitch in an increase that was following one of the double crochets below. So we grab that, do our chain, that's how we hold on to it. Now the pattern we're going to do this time is going to be a single crochet, a double crochet into the stitch below, and then an increase. So single crochet, now we have a double crochet. It's not going to go into this blue, it's going to go into the front loop of the white stitch right below it. So we're going to go right in here, our double crochet. We're going to skip that stitch, grab the next one, and do an increase in this guy. So 1, 2, remember working back loop only for these stitches around the outside. So that's our repeat. A single crochet, double crochet into the round below, followed by an increase. So we've got single crochet, Now double crochet, and you notice this time I actually get to connect with the double crochet below. So I'm going to grab the front loop of that guy. Skip the stitch behind and do an increase right after. So we have to repeat that 8 times around. So I'll do it one more time so that you can see it going into one of these guys here. We're going to do a single crochet, a double crochet going into the stitch below. So I will grab that front loop, skip the blue stitch behind it, go to the next one, and do an increase. And so you'll notice that's the pattern. Half of these double crochets you're doing are just going into a single crochet. Half of them are connecting up with the double crochets from the previous round. So that's it. We finished that around, and I'll catch you on the other side. So I'm on my last repeat. You notice here I had done the single crochet, the double into the round below, and an increase. So we're going to finish the last one, a single crochet, a double into the round below, so that means the front loop of the double crochet there. Skipping that stitch, I'm into my very last stitch at the end of the repeat, so you know you did the count right. And that is an increase. So from here, like the previous rounds, sort of stretch it out, make it look nice and round. I'm going to go ahead, cut the working yarn, do my needle join. So here, first real stitch is the double crochet. Pull the yarn through both loops, bring it to the front. For the last stitch, that was the second in this increase, we're going to go just through the back loop, grab it, pull it through, and you have your nice circle now with 8 overlay stitches around it. Hi, so we have finished the first 5 rounds going back and forth between this white and aqua color. For round 6, we're going to start a new color, this sort of slate blue, darker blue color. For this round, you can join in on any of the double crochets. Like I've said before, I'm going to start sort of opposite the tail end here from the previous round so I can hold them together. We're going to join in to a double crochet with our chain, counting as the first single crochet. For this round, our pattern is going to be an increase followed by 3 single crochets. So this first stitch counts as the first part of my increase. I'll do another one in that stitch. And now I've got 3 single crochets after that. 1, 2, 3. So that's the pattern around, a pretty simple one. Increase, which is going to be in this lovely double crochet, followed by 3 single crochets. It's great when the rounds, and I try as much as possible to have the rounds start and end sort of on landmarks so that you can see things are working out. So we do our increase now, 3 single crochet. And you notice when I'm ready to start my next repeat, I'm in this double crochet again. So it gives you a way to check to see if you're doing things right. So repeat this all the way around, an increase followed by 3 single crochets, and then join it together with a needle join at the end. Hi there, we're on to round 7, where we're going to introduce a brand new color, this pretty magenta color we got here, and a new stitch, the puff stitch. Puff stitches can be a little tricky. It's easy to split the yarn and have things get hung up, but it has a really great texture to it, so it's totally worth doing. So we are going to join in on the first stitch in any increase. So you notice above these double crochets there's an increase. We're going to start on the first stitch, draw up a loop, and then do our our chain stitch. That counts as our first single crochet though for this first repeat. So for this pattern we're going to do 4 single crochet followed by a puff stitch all the way around. So the first chain counts as 1. We'll do 2 single crochet, 3, 4, and again I hold my yarn inside the stitches so that I don't have to weave it in or hide it later. So next up we're going to do the puff stitch. So for this stitch we're not going to go into the blue back loop here, we're going to go down to the white round, the previous round, and I'm going to grab that front loop there. So for the puff stitch we're going to yarn over, come in through the stitch, and draw up a loop. And I'm going to bring it up nice and high so that I have as much room as I can. That's one. We're going to repeat that exact same thing 4 more times. So yarn over, bring up a loop, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have done it 5 times total. I'm going to yarn over and now pull it through all the loops on my hook, and that's where it's really easy to grab it weird, have it pull strangely. Just do the best you can. It really does hide a lot of flaws, so you don't need to worry about it. Once you're done with it, you notice this pulled the stitch down here pretty loose. It'll still be okay. It'll work out. When you're done, you're going to do a chain. So our repeat is going to be these 4 single crochet, the puff stitch, and a chain. Now every repeat we've done thus far, you notice that there's been an increase of some kind in it. Same thing's going to go here. It's just a slightly hidden increase. You notice that the puff stitch is 1 stitch here, the chain is another stitch, and just like before we're going to skip the ones in the back here, but instead of skipping the 2 stitches I just did, I'm only going to skip 1. So that means we end up sort of hiding an increase in there where we did 2 stitches but only skipped 1. So this is the beginning of my next repeat. I have my 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do the puff stitch, not into this one but into the front loop below it. So yarn over, draw up a loop, that's 1. I want 5 total. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over and bring it through all the loops on the hook. And you notice this time just did not want to go through. It happens. Just grab it, start over. You notice this front loop got pulled way out in the process, but it's okay. In the end, it will still look great. So we'll try this guy one more time. Yarn over, drop a loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, and pull it through. It hooked on something, so it's a little tight, but it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do my chain and just let it go. The next round we'll be able to connect into it and it'll be all right. So instead of skipping the 2 stitches I just did, I'm only going to skip 1. Still carrying my tail over. And that's the first stitch of the next repeat. So 4 single crochet, puff stitch, chain, skip 1, all the way around. Alright, so I repeated that pattern all the way around. I just finished my last puff stitch, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me the last one always seems to be the toughest to do. I have to do it like 2 or 3 times before it works, but I got it on here. I did my chain stitch, and you'll notice back here, if I move my yarn tail out of the way, there was just this 1 stitch left. That's okay, that's the one that we're supposed to skip in the pattern. So if you've done this right, you have that 1 extra one floating there. That's supposed to be there. That's all right. So for this needle join, we're going to go ahead. I had cut the yarn, just going to pull it through and then do the needle join like before. We're going to go into the first single crochet through both loops, pull the yarn through, And then here, normally we go into the last single crochet of the repeat, but if you remember, our last stitch is actually this chain stitch. So I'm going to just go into the back loop of the chain stitch, grab my yarn, and pull it through. And that's how we finish off that one. So the puff stitches, if you're not practiced with them, which I am not, I probably should do a blanket with just these stitches or something so I can get really good at them, but they can be a little tricky, but they are so cute when it's done. It's really worth the effort. So we move on to the next round.